There is often confusion as to how a parenting and a property settlement agreement can be formalised. A parenting agreement can be formalised in one of two ways, including a parenting plan or a consent order. A parenting plan is not legally binding and it does not go through a court. A consent order is legally binding and it does go through a court. A parenting plan is best in circumstances where things are changing. For example, where the parties have recently separated or where there is a child that is young and time will need to graduate over time, or where there are issues that will need to be addressed with one party before time progresses, for example, drug use or mental health. Otherwise, a consent order is generally always the best option as it is legally binding and there is recourse if it is breached. If you are wanting to formalise a property settlement agreement, this can be documented in one of two ways, including a binding financial agreement or a consent order. These are both essentially contracts in respect to the division of your assets. The difference between the two being that a consent order goes through a court and is scrutinised to ensure it is equitable, whereas a binding financial agreement is not. A consent order is generally the best option and the one that I recommend in 9 out of 10 cases to my clients. A binding financial agreement is fraught with difficulty as it may later be overturned, and us as lawyers cannot tell our clients that it is solid, concrete, and won't be subject to scrutiny in the future. This is particularly so in the case of pre-separation binding financial agreements, commonly referred to as prenups. Binding financial agreements have their use in particular circumstances. For example, if the parties are in a relationship and they are wanting to pre-plan for the separation of their assets. The only other circumstance where I would recommend a binding financial agreement is where the parties have reached an agreement which is less than equitable to one party. In these circumstances, the parties may opt for a binding financial agreement so as to be able to bypass the court and reach an agreement which is less than equitable and favourable to one party and might not be considered just inequitable by a court. Otherwise, a consent order is generally the best option as it is difficult to be overturned. If you're separating or are thinking about separating and you're not sure what type of agreement is right for you, please don't hesitate to contact me today and book a reduced rate consultation to have a confidential discussion about your individual circumstances.